We're good. Yeah, we're rolling away.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Well, happy days. Welcome back to our roadshow.
I love calling it a roadshow.
Yeah, that
mini-series you keep throwing at me, but I think roadshows are...
Okay, on the...
And we've got another guest.
We do.
Coming thick and fast.
They are. So, Stephen.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.
Really interesting day today. Obviously, it's immersive learning, and you're obviously a big part of it. You've brought your college, is it here, or your pupils or students are here?
Yeah,
is that right?
So I'm from Healing Academy. We're literally just up the road. So we've got all of our Year 10 pupils involved in immersive work experience this whole week actually.
Do you work with Franklin then? Is that how it came about? Or was it through the actual events organisation?
So for me, it's working with Liz with Y Focused. So we've worked with them in partnership and in collaboration actually with Franklin, Grimsby Institute, Y Focused, and a number of businesses to put together an immersive work experience week. So we work in partnership and collaboration.
Is it the first time you've done this as a school, or is it a repeat sort of a thing that you've done before? Or
it's the first really.
Right.
What I should say, I've only been principal 12 months actually in July. So, but I believe in this type of approach. I think it's important that our pupils get access to really good quality careers, and I think that comes about from immersive work experience. So I think it's part of our values and listening to the community. Our parents really want this, so it's been responsive to that really.
Yeah, we've learnt loads about it. Honestly, I didn't even know what it was. I say I know what it was. We did, but the way Liz has explained it, it feels like this should be happening
everywhere,
4 or 5 times a year, if not more, within the school, everywhere. But this is the first time I've seen it being done like this, and it's been really interesting. Had you done immersive learning and before working with Liz?
So I think what it is, for me, careers kind of underpins a lot of the work that I do. I'm a principal, but I believe in all this type of stuff. So for me, it's about how do we work together in collaboration with business, charities, further education, higher education. I think it starts with having a really strong careers program in school, and this is one part of it. I know the Department for Education, Careers and Enterprise Company are looking at traditional work experience is really hard to do. Any business leader I speak to says to me, well, I can't really give you a week for one young person, but I can give you some time with, a group of young people to bring them in. So I think it's that whole challenge around, can we actually do traditional work experience now for all young people is really hard. I think it's appropriate in different contexts, but to do it for your whole Year 10s or Year 9s, or actually the direction of travel is even earlier, is really difficult. So we're trying to be innovative and creative with that to make sure our pupils get access to it, really.
It is. It's when you actually think and put it on paper to try and get 25, 30 plus students into individual employments for a full week. There's a lot of labour of love in the back of that through staff and even like parents at home and kids to try and pick what they want to do or what they want to be part of, and then actually having something structured to provide them some good learning. Whereas, like you say, having a multitude of businesses being able to offer some time to a group of students, they get a flavour of everything, don't they? It's not just saying, because the amount of times we had like, I went to so-and-so, I didn't really like it, and they've been there for a week, which potentially could be looked at as a waste of time, but generally it shouldn't be. But then you have some positive return to say, I loved it, but actually it's made me think, I don't want to do that, I want to do this. So having a selection, a variety, it does seem, like I say, very innovative and more beneficial to the pupils who are doing it. So
yeah, fully agree, 100%. With obviously a big part of your world, like you say, it's part of your culture and what you want to try drive. Then you mentioned that you've just been in the role for 11 months or 12 months coming up this summer. What were you doing before then? Before the role that you
as a school member?
As a school,
yeah. So the school I made, the role that I did previously.
Both. I kind of just threw like a double question.
Yeah.
Which one we answer both of them. Then,
So me personally, I've been in education now for nearly 19 years. So 17 years I spent in one school. I went from a trainee teacher right the way up to a deputy head teacher, worked at Mount Lambert School over in East Hull, actually part of the Education Alliance. So I have watch the podcasts, watch Johnny on there, work with Johnny a lot of time for Johnny and the kind of ethical leadership, some of the work we're talking about here with career education. So I've got those values that have followed me into the role that I'm in now. So I've been at Healing for 11 months, part of the Harbour Learning Trust, and just picked up a school that was pretty challenging, pretty broken, if I'm honest, probably focusing on the wrong things. So I've tried to really look at values, look at empowering people. So we talk about our dance values: delight and joy, ambition, nurture, community, empower. And we also talk about high performance. So we want to be a high performing school, not just with GCSE outcomes. That's the process. It's also as well inclusion, careers, employability. We want young people to be themselves, to challenge the status quo. And also as well, it's important to say, it links back to this week, where in North East Lincolnshire, there's loads of opportunities in this region. We need young people to stay here and retain talent. You know, we see young people that go off and do great things, but actually there's industries here that if we can showcase, experience and immerse them in, well, they can stay. And that's the whole point of, I suppose, what this week's about as well, is trying to link things to local, regional and national industries.
Yeah, I think it's that sort of stigma, isn't it? Of like, oh, Lincolnshire is very sort of countrified and sleepy, I guess is a term.
Sleepy.
That's been sort of like,
Sleepy,
yeah. Well, when you have a drive through, it's all like nice windy roads and very relaxed, apart from tractors where probably get a bit of road rage trying to go past them. But there is a lot to offer. I've worked in lots of schools around Lincolnshire and North East Lincolnshire especially, where there's so much passion and so much wanting to accelerate the lives of people in the area. But like I say, it's so easy to get drawn out into the bigger cities, moving to Leeds or Manchester or going down south. But actually, like I said, that if the focus is more on retaining the people in local industry, then surely that's going to benefit everybody who's living there and the economy as well. So I think it's it's very innovative for something that's so quite. It's not a small area, but it's quite I suppose a quieter area than the inner cities of the big cities. So.
Yeah, I agree. We interviewed, as mentioned, Sarah Barley, who's at Teal, and big connection to the Yorkshire Wolds teacher training.
Yeah.
Again, that all sits here.
Very nicely, yeah.
You know, and I was just amazed by how much work was going on in North Lincolnshire, and it's like there's almost this ecosystem being created, and listening to yourself then talking about values and culture and everything like that, and it's really refreshing to hear that, you know, when we sat down again with Johnny, it was all very much this about, it's leadership's huge, isn't it? You can't just be a head teacher, you can't just be a teacher, there's so much more in leadership. Do you teach that then within your team? How do you get that message across to your team, I guess, that they all are joining the journey with you?
Good question. I think that for me is about vision, values, and leadership is not about you, it's about others. So how can you empower people? But I think you've got to set a clear vision of where you want to go. Also, it's all about listening. So listening to what is not been said sometimes, and then backing people, trusting people. And we say it's also about actions. So it's okay saying your values are your values, which I've just said in this conversation, but are they actually lived? So, you know, I think leadership is multifaceted as well. There's lots of things on leadership. You can read loads of books. As a new principal as well, I think sometimes you've got to live it and experience it. And I want to make sure that our school is welcoming, inclusive and collaborative. I think that's one thing that working in North East Lincolnshire I found as a leader, collaboration and people willing to give their time. But I think you've got to go out as a leader and have these type of conversations. You know, I've got a really busy day today. I could have easily thought, well, how am I going to meander getting out to something like this? But embracing and being outward facing, and always learning. I think you can learn things from lots of, you know, I've had a brilliant conversation with one of your colleagues who does a podcast. I mean, you can learn different things from so many people, and you got to model that. You know, you model that, and then, dare I say as well, we're seeing leadership and behaviours. If you're seeing things that aren't quite right, challenge it in a kind way. no, that's not what we're about here. How do we do that in a different way? There's different approaches.
Yeah, the schools definitely can learn from collaboration with others. There's a bit of a stigma, though, isn't there, for years about trusts and schools and competing with each other and fighting for schools, and we want that school, so don't speak to them. And we come from the world of construction, and construction's a little bit different. Even though people are fighting for work, there's strong collaboration, through organisations that bring the industry together to learn between each other what failed, what didn't.
That's quite relatively new, though. So I still think there is that sort of competitive arm where they don't want to share.
Even you, we're all in it.
Yeah, of course we are.
Scrapping for work, I guess, and we are in it.
But like I say, there's enough out there for everybody to share and do things better, really, and do things more efficiently. And I say collaboration, I think, is a huge part of it, especially in education.
That's where it should be.
There's so much. There's just the time frames between as well. Like, I always think we should have more career advice at younger stages of before year 10, year 11. Some schools, I don't know what the requirements are, but at year 7, have an eye on like what do you want to be, not just sort of everyone's a dream. I want to be a sports person, or I want to be a musician, or things. Or I remember some of my story. I wanted to be a stockbroker. I don't know why I wanted to be a stockbroker. I saw like jazzy suits and a pair of braces, but what's the reality of that? And it took myself a while to understand that. But again, is it more beneficial to have these little discussions at younger age, or all these experiences, especially these sort of immersive sort of experiences? Then you know what it's going to be like. So
that's what the evidence suggests, by the way. So if you look at the evidence, whether primary school is actually where you should start it, which is, from a business perspective, is a very long-term view, but also as well a number of different exposure and experiences. So you're right, by the time you get to year 10, 11, it is too late. So you need to port that and look at what you're doing at year 7 right the way through to year 11. So that comes part of, I talk about careers curriculum rather than careers. It's a careers curriculum. And we talk about curriculum. We know what a curriculum is because of what they learn every day. Well, a careers curriculum should reflect what they learn every day. And careers underpins everything that they're doing. Because it can be mindset, it can be...
That's the end goal, isn't it?
Absolutely. But if you focus on the process, then they make a more informed choice when they transition, because you transition from 6 to 7, from even year 9 to 10 when you do your options, then from year 11, on to 6th form, apprenticeship, further education. So it's about making informed choices. And let's be honest, with all the careers we get stuff wrong, I made that choice. That's okay. Because careers can go in different journeys and different junctures, and
it's not linear, is it?
It's not.
He's right. And the amount of friends and peers I've spoke to and gone, I don't know what to do. I've gone to university and still don't know what I want to do. And it's like, it's not wrong, but it's like, maybe they say earlier integration into a career, maybe sculpted those choices in a better way to get to the outcome quicker. But a lot of the time it doesn't. It's sort of like you follow that sort of academic process, if you like, and curriculum. It still hasn't got the output that you want to achieve. So it's fun, interesting that the statistics seem to be, or the theories are leading towards that. So
do you think though this is where there's a problem with some schools go for results? It's get results right, whereas what's interesting is what happens after school, and those that have gone on to, we don't have that data, or who's actually succeeded because of what the learning that they had from their real life experience, what they've gone on to do. Whereas everything we do in schools is driven by what's the results. We were speaking about SATs the other week, the year 9, year 9, the SATs, and afterwards I didn't know too much about them. I said, what are these for? And I said, oh, not a lot. They give us the grades of where we're at as a school. And I said, what about the kids? And it threw me a little bit, because I'm like, but you're actually right. Could you introduce this into the lower years? Could you bring this in and say we want, year 7s, year 8s to be involved?
Is that a standalone movement, or is that something that needs to go to
for me? You
DFE or?
Well, careers culture, and then I've had conversations with careers and enterprise company who are responsible for careers across the UK. So I'm having discussions with them about this week. They'll be coming up next month to have a conversation about what our learnings are from this week, because it scares the life out of some schools, because you have to engage with business. You have to be outward facing. And I think it goes back to the question you asked around competition versus collaboration. And I'll link it to that. If I don't compete with anyone, I'll collaborate and share best practice. We talk about learn from the best, get better, give back. And I think that analogy of, as a system leader, why would I be in a competition with the school down the road when it's got young people in it? We've all got to work together. Now, what happens with that is sometimes you get egos involved in that. You get leaders who are, well, we've got these outcomes, but every school is good at some things. If we all shared and collaborated, the system gets better.
Yeah.
So why compete? And I'm really clear on this, whether it's GCSE results, you focus on the process, you will get the outcomes. But if you focus on the outcomes, you destroy the process sometimes because you don't see the bigger picture with stuff. And that's really brave to say that as a new, or maybe a bit naive as a new principal saying that.
I love that.
But you have to focus on the process.
Mm.
You have to focus on the process.
100%.
That includes for both, one of our strap lines used to be success and happiness for every child. And we changed it to success and happiness for all. So all includes staff.
Yes.
Pupils, families, and anyone, all's everyone. So if it's every child, well, if you put everything on the children, you've got to look after the staff.
Yeah.
You've got to look after families. People have got challenges. So it's that whole thing of we're not in competition, we're in collaboration. But some people don't want to collaborate, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. It's better to be outward facing, I'd say, than inward facing. Looking at everything, really. Well, we're advocates of this, aren't we? Across the whole thing, there's the school, estates, curriculum, staff, everything really, and it all adds to having that experience or the best experience that people can really. So
yeah, it did drop into my mind that we've got an online network of school estate managers, and we're putting them together all across the UK. They can share best practice of what's working and what's not working. But my first thought was, the CEO ain't going to like this, because they're going to be sharing information around what they're doing on one school, or they may try
potentially
to pinch their staff, if they're speaking to each other. And it was a bit of a, I shouldn't have felt like that, but there was that piece of me that thought they're not going to like it. But that's irrelevant, really. It's the sharing of the best practice.
You're improving the system, though.
Improving the system.
Yeah, correct.
And that's the goal.
And sometimes you have to be out there and pioneering with that to enact change, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. That's what. Yeah, it's sharing that. It's leveling up for everybody, and but it's even now there's a battle. It's even trying to what's right, what's wrong, but it's like I said, putting your head above the parapet is always the hardest bit. Staying behind it and just peering out is the easy option, isn't it?
Yeah, So
I don't like that option, by the way.
No.
I don't like that.
No.
But as a principal, then you've got, you might be able to explain. Obviously, there's guidelines within schools, what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be usually set by the DFE. But what can you bring in? Like obviously we spoke then. Could you bring this in to year sevens to get them experience? So what as a leader, do you have a certain kind of ceiling that you can go to, or could you kind of create anything that you want within your setting to increase what's the word I'm looking for, exposure and the good feeling around the school?
I think the biggest challenge is finance, but then you've got to be ambitious. So if we're not ambitious ourselves as leaders, how can young people be ambitious? How can families be ambitious? So I think the answer to your question is yes. We've had all sorts of activities go on with year 7. We've had team building activities. We've had STEM activities, 7, 8, 9. We've got an Inspiring Leaders program in year 9. So the answer to your question is yes, but it starts with you as a leader, and you set that tone, you set that kind of expectation. So if this is important, we're all doing it, and that's what we do here. That comes back to culture. That comes back to values. So, talk about a careers culture. When staff then start being innovative and go, well, can I try this? Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had a conversation with RWE yesterday, which is a big renewables company, around their community fund. We're looking at spaces in school to improve our garden. They've got funds that can support us with that. More importantly, they can then bring in people to work with us to create something from that space. But that's about an open, there's the safeguarding implications of that. So number one priority in school, safeguarding. So we've got to make sure that everything's safeguarded, everything's health and safety. This immersive work experience has been fully risk assessed. So you can't go too maverick and too rogue. There's got to be two people understand systems, processes, but seeing it as the art of the possible rather than, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Let's look at what's possible. And I'll probably link it to high performance actually, because that's important to me as a leader. It's doing the best you can with what you've got where you're at. Because sometimes as well, it's like if finance is a challenge, go and speak to a business. We've had businesses sponsor buses to get us to events this year. Then we go and say thank you to them. And then it's, if you ask, I think sometimes people come and, I can help you with that. But being open to ask.
Makes sense. Your quote, I've read High Performance. Was that Phil Neville?
That was Phil Neville.
It was Phil Neville.
Phil Neville, yeah.
It was brilliant, yeah. And I read that exactly that quote is do the best you have, or do the best you can with what you have.
Yeah.
So, you can't just magic things out the air. But I guess coming back to that then whole thing, it's you've got to push boundaries to make things happen. I guess with a lot of people then it's, do you want to do that? Yes, we do, but then we've got to do a risk assessment. That's a sticking point, and then nothing happens. I think as a leader, if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, things can happen then all of the time with a bit of persistence.
But set the structure up to support that.
Yeah.
So let's go careers. Well, let's get a person, like you speak to Steve maybe today. Steve supports that work in the shadows. So all the paperwork, all the risk assessments, take some of that workload away from teachers and leaders. So his role is to risk assess it. So a teacher's not done that. It's a support member of staff. My PA is supported with that. So I've used that resource for my PA is supported with setting up this week, done all that.
Specific focus on that sort of,
Because it's not just, I have a PA. Well, she's part of this careers culture as well, supporting young people. And that's that work in the shadows of what people don't see. They see all the great pictures of pupils doing great stuff this week, but there's roles in that as well for people to do. And so my role is to make that more seamless and easier and more efficient. So then how can we do more? Not how can we do less? Because you can do less by, you sometimes got a bit of a courage to push the boundaries and do some of these things. And some of it doesn't work. Let's be clear. We tried that activity and we'll have it this week. Some things did not work, but I'm prepared to try.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
That's my
behind the chalkboard. It's all these
I
people,
try
isn't it?
everything. If it don't work, it don't work. We just carry on. But
you're modelling that as a leader, aren't you?
We are 100%.
So if you model that, everyone starts to do it.
Yeah, we absolutely. We did, didn't we? We thought we'll build a podcast about education. Let's just see what happens.
But do you have to do that? Do you have to do? So why did you do that then?
We wanted to make change. We wanted to share best practice. We wanted to get leaders on to
educate, learn,
and
listen.
Yeah. But the amount of times that we sit back and it's
we absorb great ideas, don't we?
We do all the time.
Sponges.
But we're great. That's what we do. We test. And then, but this has been honestly, it's been fantastic.
Shall we bring Stephen on?
Yeah, we'll get Steve on.
Steve would be someone who's worked in education for even longer than me and a different perspective because he talks a lot about inclusion as well.
Hello, Steve.
Hi, how are you?
Lee was there a minute ago, but we've just zapped in. These guys are going to do a fine editing job of you just appearing.
Teleporting
in. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
No, it's a pleasure.
So we've been talking about all the amazing work of today, the immersive learning, doing things that are not, in normal routine of schools, going into lessons, sitting lessons, going home, and the culture that you're building and the work experience and everything like that. But yeah, do you just want to give us a little bit of an intro of who you are and the work that you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, so my name's Steve Hoey. I'm the careers leader at Ealing Academy. Stephen and I known each other for about 20 years. And during that time, we've had a whole range of different experiences and we've picked up on lots of really good things that have been happening in schools and things that we go, ooh, that's not quite good. And the checklist is, does it equate with all values? So at Ealing Academy, we're a very values-led organisation. And we've always had the same values. So we do see things in education that we go, that's definitely not for us. That's definitely not for our community. So we both worked at a big school in a city hall, which was fabulous. 1,600 kids. It was very difficult to try to do anything really creative, innovative and bespoke for those kids. Stephen got the job at Ealing Academy a year ago. Yeah. 11 months, let's just remind you of that.
Oh, yeah, that's what you said. You were very clear on the 11 months.
11 months.
It's been a great 11 months for us.
He has won the career lottery.
Yeah.
And I was already doing a little bit of consulting at the school beforehand. And I said, the words I said, you will not believe that schools like Ealing exist. True, that's what I said.
That is true, yeah.
And
he's right.
So when Stephen got the job, he said to me, I need somebody to come in and sort out careers. Careers were led at the time by Matt Dent, who's fabulous, but his responsibility is curriculum and timetable, which is a massive responsibility. You can't do careers the way we wanted as an add-on. So Stephen just said, can you come in and do careers for 2 days a week? I said, yeah, of course I can. With one condition, we just be creative.
Yep.
And we do things differently because our values and visions completely align. So I wouldn't say we had a blank canvas because all the ingredients there to make Ealing a really special place was there. We had amazing kids. We had fantastic staff. We had really supportive parents. We had good facilities. We didn't have any money, so we had to think really innovatively about what we were going to do. So when first time I went in, we had a little careers room where the kids would come and have one-to-one meetings. I didn't want that. So we made a room as big as this. We kitted it out in a day for no money. We just got stuff that was around school. It's lovely. And this is our high performance hub. We're both great fans of the High Performance podcast. And the High Performance podcast team, the foundation, came up and officially opened my hub in the school and cut the ribbon. And I got a plaque on the wall. They did a day's filming with our kids and our staff and our parents and myself and Stephen. And we were using careers not as an add-on. It was central to our engagement strategy. I'm sure Stephen's mentioned this. Ealing Academy has got the best attendance in the area. And there's a reason.
I haven't mentioned any of that, to be
I
honest.
think, to be fair,
it's got. Well, I'll tell you now. I've worked in a lot of schools. It's got the best attendance in the area, and people think you get good attendance by ringing parents and finding them and hassling them. You don't. Or you get good attendance by offering kids prizes and trips for attending. You don't. What get kids coming to school regular is the culture of the school, an inclusive culture of belonging. And the kids at Ealing come, the attendance today. So I've got 163 kids on work experience today. 4 kids are poorly. 4 kids have not turned up because they're really poorly. They've not turned up. They know they've missed an opportunity today.
Yeah.
So the attendance is so high because our culture of inclusion, of belonging is right. Kids come because they get quality first teaching because our teachers are amazing. So every lesson is a brilliant lesson. And the kids come because they're worried about missing out on opportunities. So so people said to us, why is your attendance really good? What's your magic bullet? What's the secret sauce? And we go, values-led culture, inclusion. That's why our kids come. And our parents love that. You know,
yeah.
And an example of our parents is this: the High Performance podcast. The foundation were running a conference in London, a 1-day conference. It was for 2 hours in central London for London schools. We said we're coming. So we said to all our kids, we offered it to all our year 9 and 10 kids. If you want to go down to London, it'll cost you 50 quid. That's the coach, because we've got no money. And it's a 10-hour round trip for a 2-hour conference. The coach was full within days. Because parents wanted it and our kids wanted it. And that's sort of reflection of where we are after 11 months. So I would say my job at Ealing is to make sure that every child who leaves, when they're leaving year 11, I'd have a fantastic wide-ranging bespoke experience around careers for them to make informed choices. And we talk about the careers curriculum, and the careers curriculum isn't like curriculum in English and maths. And curriculum isn't what just happens in the classroom. It's what happens everywhere in and out the school. So, and the kids are very clear. I've had a kid this morning come up to me going, Steve, I want to be a bricklayer. It was a girl. I want to be a bricklayer. She's on our construction pathway today. And I said, you email me, because I forget. You email me, you go on my list of bricklayers. When any opportunities come up, or I will go and find opportunities for that kid in year 11 to go and spend some time with bricklayers before she makes her informed choices of colleges that she's going to go to. So Healing's a really special place. We've got special kids, and we're not using any tricks. We're not doing things for effect or quick wins. We're building a real culture that's sustainable. So when Stephen and I go, that culture will hopefully continue because we've laid it on a real good foundation.
It's amazing to hear. There's no wonder you brought him in. To be
I
fair,
can't remember what question you asked.
It's super.
I didn't
cool,
mention
isn't
it. Yeah, because that would have been the outcome.
Yes.
So, and we were talking about the process.
We were absolutely.
Yeah, we're talking
and
about
it's this piece here that allows you to build that culture.
Yeah.
Question then.
Yeah.
I've got fear because you're
Brilliant.
straight talking. I like this.
Yeah. He's definitely straight
talking.
talking. What are you going to ask him?
We're doing experience for all students, getting them out there. So holidays. I can ask this because I think it's a good point. When kids are going on holidays and they're being taken out of school and all this, they're getting fined for it, and then there's hell on, isn't there, you know, between their parents, and we're getting fined. Like, what's your thoughts then, based on everything you've said, taking them on a 2-week holiday to Portugal? Should that be part of everything that, like, your values? Is that part of that? I know you can't change the system, but
I've got a question. It's a current question, but I'll answer it. Why is the government putting pressure on schools to make sure kids are in school? The answer is safeguarding.
yeah,
They need to know where kids are. They need to know that kids are safe. And that's our number one priority at school. That's my number one priority today, making sure all our kids are safe. Count them in, count them out, everybody's happy, everybody's had lunch. So the government wants to make sure that every young person is safe. And if kids aren't in school, where are they?
Yeah.
And if parents are choosing to take their kids on holiday, and they can make all the excuses that it's educational, no doubt it could be educational, right? But we as a school, you know, we're not banging our students, you know, we're not hassling our parents to say you can't go on holiday. So, for example, one of the kids who I've been working really closely with is not on work experience this week. His parents have taken him on holiday. That's fine. I will arrange his work experience another time.
Yeah.
100%. So parents have I've got 4 daughters. If I had the money, I would love to take them on holiday. And I can see all the reasons why people do that. But I've got to make choices. And parents have got to make choices, what's best for their kids. And some kids and some families maybe don't fit into that tight box that we want everybody to fit into. Yep. And they think differently, to be fair. But I would say from our perspective at Healing, which I want to talk about, is our attendance is fantastic. Our kids come to school because they get quality first teaching and they're frightened of missing out. So we don't really have a problem with parents taking their kids massively on holiday. Yep. And if they do, fine. We pick the pieces up and we go again when they come back. Yep. You know, we're not punishing our parents. We're working in partnership.
I think the challenge with the holiday thing is you don't know the individual's circumstance. I think what it comes down to is knowing your families. Like, you know, I've had examples of what we've worked with is, you know, if you've had someone with terminal cancer, there's so many. It's not as clear cut as sometimes we make it, but we do have to follow the guidance that we're given as well. We've got to make sure that we follow that. But I think you can still be kind with that and understanding. And we've had examples of pupils that it's not an attendance, well, it is attendance actually. So they'll go and say, well, I'm going to go and spend the day with the RAF. We'll support that. I'm going to go out and work experience. We're talking about immersive work experience. We've had pupils go out and work experience that their parents have organised. We risk assess it. We safeguard it. It's been adaptable with that. And it's a case by case basis. But it's a big challenge that, I mean, I'll give you an example of Franklin. You've got to be at Franklin, I believe on the 2nd of September. You can't be on holiday. You've got to start your college day on that day. That's clearly communicated. Yeah. You know, so that's to make sure you get the best transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all that, what he's talking about is based on relationships.
Yeah.
Knowing our kids, knowing our families. And in big schools, that's quite difficult to do.
Yeah. How many pupils have you got?
We've got 797.
So yeah, it's a lot of relationships to keep on top of, but you get a general understanding, don't you?
Yeah.
I guess why we've gone down this route is just because of that. Like, it's so different to when we were at school. Like, you know, I'm sure like all of us in this room, all have work experience. My work experience was a week working in the PE department, and it weren't there for me to learn. It was because it was work experience week. 100%. Whereas now, things are a lot different. And I love that. I love the fact that a student could genuinely come to you, you know, in year 9, and I've got this real, you know, passion for planes. I want to learn about planes. You could go putting them on like a day out at you know, planes and understanding it and support from the school to do it.
But we've tried. So one of the work that Steve's done is probably explain is being proactive. So we've been a bit reactive. I've only been in post 11 months, so I want to be proactive next year. So let's find out in year 9 and year 10 what they want to do. So, you know, for example, you've done a career survey with them all. So finding out, do you want to go post 16, do you want to be an apprenticeship? And also, so what career are you interested in? Then you can grab all that intel and then shape your careers curriculum based on what the pupils are saying they want to do. And by the way, some of them may not have any clue what they want to do. Some have a really clear direction that they want to do, and that's absolutely fine. But knowing that and then shaping your careers curriculum so not just, oh, I think it's this and I think they might like that. No, what? And we'll need to get feedback on this week. So I'll be interested to know what parents think, pupils think, staff think, and then being open to going, as I said earlier, if some things haven't worked, well, let's learn from it.
Well, if we can find some students who want to do podcasting,
we've got 2 fabulous students.
Well, then we can give you we can tell you, and we can be like, we can put. Got an amazing studio, we've got an amazing podcast team here, but I really love all this. I think it's amazing. School's so different now to what it was, and that's why we're learning so much. And he's then doing this podcast, we're learning loads as well about school, about what goes on in, you know, behind the chalkboard. I always keep giving that reference as a bit of a joke. Yeah. That's why we do it. Yeah. But what have you got planned for the rest of the day? And you just out and about helping?
So we've got 163 kids on work experience. They were all given a choice of 7 different pathways. Yeah. They all got the first choice.
Nice.
All of them. At the minute, next year, I'm probably going to give them 2 choices and try and run maybe 2 different experiences. They've all got the first choice. On the first day, they have a welcome event, welcome to work, team building, all that kind of stuff. Liz did some amazing speeches. So did Rachel Hardcastle. She was amazing about volunteering. Today, tomorrow and Thursday, they're all on their pathways, either at Franklin College or Grimsby Institute, which are both fabulous. Then Friday's a big celebration day here. So what it means is every kid in my year 10, I've had taster days at the 2 local colleges, which saves me organising 2 more trips. Clever. And it means they're on the pathway and they experience college life. Exactly, there's what's and all. So my kids will be in the canteen at 12:30 having lunch with all the other students. So they get a real immersive, that's the key word, about what it's like. My job, and I said this to all the kids at the beginning, my number 1 job is safeguarding, to make sure they're all safe, they're all happy, they all go home when they should go home, or they come back on the bus with me, they all have lunch. And if they have a wobble, because we do have some vulnerable kids who this is really hard work for, I made sure that specialist staff are supporting them kids. So it is a lot to organise, but then you see the kids like I've just done. So I make sure that I'm not delivering any sessions, that I'm floating in case of any problems. And I've got another member of staff floating at Grimsby. So a member of staff can ring us at any time and we will zoom in and we will just help that kid or help that member of staff. So I've got a fabulous rest of the week, in all honesty, because I'm just seeing kids being immersed in the things they love. At the end, they might come and go, actually, it's not for me. Yeah. You know, I've got 33 kids at Grimsby Hospital today on the medical pathway, in the hospital, on the wards, speaking to doctors and surgeons and people that do the grounds maintenance, because there's millions of jobs, brilliant jobs in the NHS. Some of them might come back and go, nursing is definitely for me. Some might come back and go, no way, it's not for me. That's the whole beauty of work experience. You experience it, and then a year down the line, they can make informed choices exactly what they want to go. Some kids will have spent the day here and gone, this is where I'm coming from higher levels, 100%. And that's the beauty of what we're doing.
He's absolutely nailed it for you, hasn't he? And everything. He's put it so well, you know. And I think it's amazing what you're doing together. And we'd love to follow the journey. You know, we're heavily involved in education and stuff. And I think, we'll be able to speak afterwards for sure, and hopefully offer you some construction connections somewhere along the line. But
he'll be tapping you up for that.
Can I just say a couple of things? We're both live in Hull. We've worked in Hull for 20 years. My school, when I was in education, was in Scunthorpe. A fabulous place to work, hard place to work with the demographic of the steelworks shutting and stuff like that. We've both been over here 11 months at Ealing Academy. The opportunities on this side of the Humber are amazing. Yeah. The businesses, the colleges, and we are very careful as an organisation who we collaborate with. We don't just collaborate with anybody because we're a values-driven organisation. If their values don't fit with us, it's a not yet or no thank you. But I would say, and this is statistically about right, there's 80% more opportunities in Grimsby than there is in Hull at the minute. I get people ringing up, emailing me every day saying, can we come and work with your school? In 20 years at Hull, that didn't happen. I had to go out and knock on doors. Yeah. It's just amazing.
It's a valid point. I mean, and the other thing as well is a thank you. I mean, thank you for the opportunity to come and talk about the journey, not the destination. It's always about the journey. And just, you know, Franklin and Grimsby and why focus, just working with those organisations. And I'll probably miss the amount of people that are involved in this week, so I don't want to do that. Me and three of those three. But those organisations support us. You can't do this on your own. No, collaboration is absolutely key. But Steve's right, the opportunities in this region, if you look at the Humber region, and we've got to talk it up. You know, we sometimes talk these things down. If we talk it down as leaders, what are young people going to do? They're going to talk it down. We've got to talk it up. And by the way, for some industries, they might have to go to the Leeds, the Manchester, the London, or even further afield globally. That's fine. But let's give them the information, let's give them the experiences so they can make that choice.
And here's the thing for you. We're in the Humber. There's a lot of wind turbine just because where it is geographically. A lot of industries are setting up here because of where it is. We've actually got the country's greatest and richest resource. And it's our kids. That's our greatest resource, without a doubt. We've got fabulous kids. And I have got no doubt in the future all kids from Ealing Academy will be business leaders. They will be changing. They will be tackling things like climate change. They will be changing the world. I'm not fearful for the future because I know what our kids are like. They're absolutely going to transform the world because they are world-class, high-performing kids.
What way to end? I'm going to clip that last piece. That's going on as the promo for the school. I absolutely love that. I'll send that over to you.
You come and meet them. Seriously.
I love the passion, though. Honestly, genuinely, it's so nice to see. And it is. And when you've got people like this working in your school, then nothing, you know.
But that's leadership. We've got great people who, by the way, previously culture was not like this. It was, and the shackles are off now. It's time to fly. It's simple as that. Yeah. You know, what do you want to do? Where's the best practice? Go and find it. Let's work with them. And then when we get our things in order, come and see it. Because we want to help others. Yeah. We want to help others.
Best practice, not just in education.
Yeah.
Best practice everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere. So like we go to TEDx because we're geeky. You know, we go to TEDx and we were chatting with what's that cyclist lad called? Chris Boardman.
TEDx Manchester.
Yeah.
What was it? 40 quid. Amazing.
Sat next to Chris Boardman all day. We're like that.
But everyone else, right? But take an opportunity. So everyone else left the auditorium. We hung around for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Had a conversation.
Took
an opportunity.
Yeah.
Rather than just went and got a car.
But what I would say is we are just starting. We are just starting getting going. Because come September, we'll be raising the bar even further.
So if we, next time we see you then, hopefully, there'll be a lot more to talk about. But guys, thank you so much.
It's honestly
it really has been a pleasure, and I appreciate the honesty and stuff. But thank you.